I didn't believe in hauntings until I woke up in a hospital bed with someone else's fingerprints burned into my skin. They were deep, dark purple. 4 fingers and a thumb pressed so hard into my forearm that the doctors thought I'd been branded. But here's the thing. I was alone when it happened, locked inside a tomb, in a graveyard that's been collecting the dead for over 400 years. And the man they say did this to me? He's been dead since 1691. His name was George Mackenzie. They called him Bluidy Mackenzie, not because of some ghost story, but because of what he actually did. Real blood, real bodies, thousands of them. He was King's advocate during the killing time, the man who signed the death warrants for Scottish Covenanters. Men and women tortured, drowned, hanged, left to rot in open fields for refusing to bend their faith to the crown. Mackenzie didn't just enforce the law, he enjoyed it. There are letters, testimonies, descriptions of him watching executions with what witnesses called a calm, measured satisfaction. He died wealthy, respected, untouched by justice. And they buried him in Greyfriars Kirkyard, in a black mausoleum with iron doors, as if even then, someone knew he needed to be contained. For centuries, nothing happened. The tomb sat quiet. Tourists passed it. Locals avoided it out of superstition maybe, but not fear. Then, in 1998, a homeless man broke in looking for shelter. He pried open the floor, thinking there might be valuables. What he found instead was a lower chamber, a forgotten crypt filled with plague victims, their bones stacked like firewood. He ran. But by the time he made it out of the kirkyard, witnesses said he was screaming about something grabbing his ankle. Pulling him back, he never went near the place again. And after that night, everything changed. People started reporting attacks, not sightings, attacks. Scratches that appeared on their backs while standing in front of the tomb. Cold burns on their hands after touching the iron door. One woman collapsed outside the mausoleum and woke up with bruises around her throat in the exact shape of hands. Another visitor, a skeptic, a journalist writing a piece on Edinburgh's tourist traps, went inside on a dare. He came out silent, wouldn't speak for 2 days. When he finally did, all he said was, "Something was in there with me, and it was angry. Would you have gone inside? Because I did, not for a story, not for proof. I went because I thought I understood fear. I thought I'd seen enough of the world's darkness to be immune to superstition. I was wrong. The tomb is small, smaller than you'd expect for a man of Mackenzie's stature. The walls are stone, damp, covered in something that looks like soot, but smells like rust. There's no light inside except what you bring. And the door, the iron door everyone talks about, it's scratched, deeply, from the inside, long gouges, like something tried to claw its way out. They're not old, some of them are fresh. I know because I touched them. I ran my fingers along the ridges, and they were warm. In a tomb that's kept at maybe 50 degrees year-round, those marks were warm. That's when I felt it. Not a hand, not a touch. Pressure, like the air itself was leaning into me. My chest tightened. My breath came out in a cloud, even though it wasn't cold enough for that. And then I heard it, a low, rattling exhale right next to my ear. I spun around. No one. Just the dark, just the walls, just me. But I wasn't alone. I don't remember leaving. I remember the pressure getting stronger. I remember my legs giving out. I remember the ground being colder than it should have been. And the smell, God, the smell, like wet earth and something rotting underneath. When I opened my eyes, I was outside the tomb, flat on my back, and there were people standing over me asking if I was okay. My arm was throbbing. I looked down. That's when I saw them. The marks, the fingerprints, burned into my skin, like I'd been grabbed by something so cold it felt like fire. The doctors didn't believe me. They said it was a reaction, pressure trauma, self-inflicted during a panic attack. But I've had panic attacks. This wasn't that. This was deliberate. This was a grip. And the angle was wrong. The thumb was on the top of my forearm, the fingers underneath, as if whatever grabbed me was reaching up from below. Tell me in the comments what you think really happened, because I've spent 2 years trying to explain it, and I can't. Here's what I know. Since that night, over 300 people have reported similar experiences in or around Mackenzie's tomb. Scratches, burns, bruises, fainting spells. One tour guide refuses to go near it anymore after she was shoved, hard, by something invisible while her back was turned. She quit the next day. Another visitor, a woman from Germany, said she felt hands on her shoulders while standing at the tomb's entrance. She turned around. No one. But when she got back to her hotel, there were fingerprints on her coat. Dusty, old, like someone had touched her with hands covered in ash. The city knows. They don't advertise it, but they know. There's a reason the tomb is kept locked now, a reason tours are regulated, a reason there are signs posted nearby that don't say haunted but do say proceed with caution. Because whether you believe in ghosts or not, something is happening in that tomb. Something that leaves marks. Something that doesn't want to be forgotten. Mackenzie killed without mercy. He did it legally. He did it proudly. And maybe, just maybe, death didn't stop him. Maybe some people carry so much violence that it doesn't die with them. Maybe it seeps into the stone, into the air, into the bones of the place they're buried. And maybe, when you get too close, it reaches back. I haven't been back to Edinburgh since, but I still feel it sometimes. Late at night, that pressure, that cold, that sense of being watched by something that isn't there. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's always been there, waiting, listening, marking the ones who get too close. If this story haunted you, then you need to hear what happened to the archaeologist who opened the crypt beneath Mackenzie's tomb in 2003. What they found wasn't just bones, it was a message, carved into the stone, in a language no one could translate. Subscribe, because what I'm about to tell you next isn't legend. It's documentation, and it's worse than anything you've heard so far.